What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're going to be doing the little Swordsman of Aile deck profile. So I'm really excited to do some for you guys because this deck was actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Izzy. And this deck is an extremely interesting deck that can actually get infinite attack points on the little Swordsman of Aile to OTK your opponent. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. And definitely give Izzy some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So let's get straight on into this one, guys. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of the little Swordsman of Aile. This card is a crazy old school card with the ability that you offer one monster on your side of the field as a tribute to increase this monster's attack by 700 until the end of the turn, which is not a once per turn effect, which is why you can actually loop this card to get infinite attack points, which is absolutely crazy. This card is such an old school card coming out of Metal Raider, and it's so cool to actually base a deck around it. We then played 3 copies of Mortronic Telfon. Mortronic Telfon is actually how we loop our copy of the little Swordsman of Aile to get infinite attack points, because this card has a great ability that when it's in attack position once per turn during your main phase, you can roll a 6-sided dice and gain life points equal to the result times 100. Then you get to special summon a Mortronic monster from the graveyard with a level equal to or lower than the result that you rolled, which is a great ability to constantly loop 2 of these cards, summoning one to your side of the field, using its ability to summon back the other one to your side of the field, tributing the one that you used for the copy of the little Swordsman of Aile, and then using the other one on your side of the field to constantly loop 2 of these on the field and off the field with the effect of the little Swordsman of Aile until you get it to the exact attack points that you want to OTK your opponent. This card is so easy to get to as well, and it's crazy how consistent it is to be able to summon out the little Swordsman of Aile using Skull Dread and be able to summon out your copies of Telfon to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Mortronic Selfon. Mortronic Selfon is great as a 3-of in the build, as when this card's in attack position once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided dice and reveal cards from the top of your deck equal to the number that you roll, and then special summon a level 4 or lower Mortronic monster from among those cards, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is a great ability to instantly bring out the exact card that you excavate, hopefully a copy of your Selfon or a copy of a Telfon, which is so cool to be able to do, and it's insane how even if you cannot get to your copy of the little Swordsman of Aile, you can just play Mortronic Link. We then played 3 copies of Smartphone. Smartphone is great as a 3-of as well, because this card has the ability, it cannot be normal summoned or set, it must first be special summoned from your hand by banishing a Mortronic monster from your graveyard. And while this card is in attack position once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided dice and excavate that many cards from the top of your deck, and then add an excavated Mortronic card to your hand, and you shovel the rest back in the deck, which is a great ability to be able to use. We then played 2 copies of Remoten. Remoten is really cool as a 2-of in the deck and just helps out a lot in this build. Just have additional names in this deck, and it's just an awesome card overall in the build. We then play a single copy of Scannon. Scannon is great in this deck as a 1-of as well, as this card is really cannot be normal summoned or set and must first be special summoned from your hand by actually banishing a Mortronic monster from your hand. And if it's in attack position once per turn during your main phase, you can add a Mortronic spell trap from your deck to your hand, then play a card from your hand on the top of the deck, which is a great ability to be able to use to instantly get to our copy of a Mortronic Converter. And it's just an awesome play to be able to do. We then played 3 copies of Gadget Gamer. Gadget Gamer is great in this deck as a 3-of, because this card actually helps us get to our copy of Gadget Hauler, which has the ability, when this card is normal summoned, you can add a level 1 machine monster from your deck to your hand, which is always going to be your copy of your Telfon that you're going to be grabbing off this card, and then you can tribute this card to special summon a Mortronic monster from your hand, then special summon a Gadget Hauler from your hand or deck, which instantly brings out your copy of your Telfon to your side of the field, and also brings out your copy of your Gadget hauler, which is so cool to be able to do, is if you open up a copy of your Telethon plus a copy of Gadget Gamer, you basically have full combo because your copy of Gadget Hauler has the ability once per turn, you can send any number of Mortronic monsters from your hand to the graveyard to have this card gain 800 attack for each, which will actually help you get one of your copies of your Telethon into the graveyard so you can actually use it to be able to loop back with the one that's on the field, which is so cool about your copies of your Telethon. And it's insane how easy it is to loop those cards to be able to summon out your copy of Skulldrad and draw into a way to get to your copy of Little Swordsman of Aile. We then played 3 copies of Kashtira Fenrir. Fenrir is great as an extender in this deck because this card has the ability, if you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And during the main phase, you can add another copy of this card from your deck to your hand. And when this card declares an attack, you can actually banish a card that's face up on your opponent's side of the field face down, or when your opponent activates a monster effect, which is a great ability to be able to use, but it's awesome to be able to use this card as a small world bridge, and it's just really good overall in the deck to be able to play, to just get an additional monster on your side of the field so we can link it away for a copy of Skulldrad. And then I see a copy of Gillosaurus. Gillosaurus is actually crazy in this build because this card is our small world bridge to get to our copy of Little Swordsman of Aile, as this card only has in common with our Mortronic cards that it is actually an earth monster, and the only thing it has in common with the Little Swordsman of Aile is that it's actually a level 3 monster. So you can reveal this card in your deck to be able to instantly get your copy of Little Swordsman of Aile using your copy of Small World plus any of your Mortronic monsters, which is so cool that it's actually not a level 3. So you can use a bunch of different cards in this deck to be able to get to your copy of your Little Swordsman of Aile. You can even use your copy of Kashtira Fenrir as well, which is hilarious. To be able to reveal Kashtira Fenrir in the hand, then reveal your copy of Gillosaurus because they're both Earth, and then once you do, you reveal your copy of Little Swordsman of Aile, which only has that they're actually level 3 with your copy of Gillosaurus to be able to add it from your deck to your hand, which is absolutely crazy. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is great in this deck as a 1-0 to basically just use this card to bring a monster back to your side of the field so you can link climb. Then make a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is great as a 1-of as well to basically just use this card to get your copies of your Mortronic monsters in the graveyard so you can start looping them. We make a single copy of One for One. One for One is again great to always get our Mortronic monsters onto our side of the field, also getting a card into the graveyard, which is awesome. We make a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is great in this deck as a 1-of to basically just stop your opponent's hand traps where you're going in for all of your plays. We then made 2 copies of Junk Box. Junk Box is like 2 additional copies of Monster Reborn in the deck, letting you special summon a level 4 lower Mortronic monster from your graveyard, but destroy it during the end phase. But that's totally fine because it's not going to stay on the field for very long, because we're going to tribute it for our copy of Little Swordsman of Aile. But this card is great, so you can start your loop. We then played 2 copies of Mortronic Converter. Mortronic Converter is searchable in this deck, which is why we're just playing 2 copies, but this card is great to target a machine monster you control and apply the following effects depending on its battle position. If it's in attack position, you get to special summon a Mortronic monster from your deck with a different name than the targeted monster, then place the targeted monster on the top of the deck, which is a pretty cool ability to get the exact Mortronic monster you want on your side of the field. But if it's in defense position, you change the targeted monster to attack position. If you do, special summon a level 4 lower machine monster from your hand, which can also be very good in this deck. We then played 3 copies of Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin is great in this build, just to always dig deeper into the deck so we can get to our combo pieces. We then played 3 copies of Machine Duplication. Machine Dupe is crazy powerful in the deck, so we have multiple targets in the deck to help us swarm the board so we can step into our copy of Skulldrad. We then played 3 copies of Small World. Small World is amazing in this build, just to be able to help us get to our copy of Little Swordsman of Aile as quickly as possible in this deck. And this card is just amazing overall in the build. So, that's it for the main deck, guys. We do not play any traps. Let's get in to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Yugioh Skulldrad. This card is an amazing one-of in the build. You could play 2 if you needed to, but in playtesting, I only ever really needed 1. And this card is amazing just to help us dig into the deck, because when this card is Link Summon, you can draw 4 cards and then place 3 cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck in any order, which is a pretty cool ability, but the main effect we look for on this card is once per turn, you can special summon a monster from your hand to your side of the field, which is how we actually bring out the little Swordsman of Aile, which is amazing to be able to do. But again, you could play even 3 copies if you wanted to, over some of the other Link monsters, which we'll get to in a minute. We then play a single copy of Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is great in this deck to be able to play, just to out towers like boss monsters. It's overall just an amazing card in this build. And then a single copy of Avramax. Avramax can be made invincible in this deck because of IP Masquerena. So this card is really cool as a one-of in the build. And lay a single copy of Access Code. Access Code comes out absolutely massive in this build to be able to pop multiple cards on the field and help you go in for game. And lay a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn is great to spin cards off the field. It's just a really good Link 3 to climb to a copy of Access Code, so it actually gets the maximum amount of attack points. And then a single copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps, a single copy of the Earth Charmer. These cards are really good in the build overall, the Earth Charmer particularly, so we can actually link climb, which is really nice to be able to do. And then a single copy of Platinum Gadget. Platinum Gadget is awesome in this build to help us get an additional machine monsters out to our side of the field. The only downside is cards that cannot be used as limited until the turn into Link Summon, which is a little bit of a downside, but it's still really good to be able to play in this build. And then a single copy of Nightmare Cerberus. Nightmare Cerberus is great to pop monsters, but if you want to play another copy of Skull Dread, you can drop this card if you want to. Then a single copy of SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight is awesome in this deck to be able to play. To basically just use this card as a double interruption. Then a single copy of Mrs. Radiant. Mrs. Radiant is awesome in this build because it gives all of our Earth monsters an additional 500 attack and defense points, which is a pretty cool ability. Just to have an additional generic Link monster we can use with our Mortronic cards, but you could drop this card if you wanted to play a 3rd copy of Skull Dread, just in case you want to. If I was going to drop anything in the extract to play 3 copies of Skull Dread, it would be Mrs. Radiant and Nightmare Cerberus to be able to play those 2 additional copies of Skull Dread. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is great in this deck to be able to play to basically make your copy of Underworld Goddess or your copy of SP during the opponent's turn, or even a copy of Nightmare Unicorn. And then a single copy of Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight is amazing in this deck to be able to play, as this card helps out so much in the build to be able to use in this deck, because it helps you just instantly link away a non-link machine monster with 1,000 or less attack to be able to get a different name on your side of the field, and just helps out a lot in this deck. We then play a single copy of Linkuriboh. Finally, it's back. It's so nice this card is back, but we're just basically using this card to give us a little bit of battle protection and to use it as a name because it has that down link arrow. We're usually summoning this card first out of our extract, linking away one of our level 1 Mortronic monsters. And then finally, a single copy of Relinquished Anima. Relinquished Anima is great for its link arrow, and it's a link 1 that just requires a level 1 monster to again link away one of our Mortronic monsters to get us additional name on our side of the field, so we can actually loop our cards. And it's really important to actually play Clockwork Knight, Linkuriboh, and the copy of Relinquished Anima, so you can have 3 different names that you can turn your copies of your Mortronics into, so that you can summon that Skull Dread and get all 4 of the effects. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is crazy how easy it is to be able to actually establish Little Swordsman of Aile on your side of the field, to be able to actually OTK your opponent and basically give it infinite attack points, which is absolutely crazy how easy it is to do. And it's so fun to be able to do, just basically loop your different Mortronic monsters on your side of the field to be able to actually make your copy of Little Swordsman of Aile absolutely massive to help you swing in for game. So that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can come part of notification squad. We'll see you guys in the next video. So then, guys,